So here's Barack Obama, and here he is endorsing Joe Biden. Let's see.
These aren't normal times. As we all manage our way through a pandemic unlike anything we've seen in a century, Michelle and I hope that you and your families are safe and well. If you've lost somebody to this virus, or if someone in your life is sick, or if you're one of the millions suffering economic hardship, please know that you're in our prayers. Please know that you're not alone, because now's the time for all of us to help where we can and to be there for each other, as neighbors, as coworkers, and as fellow citizens. In fact, over the past weeks, we've seen plenty of
Because I don't know if you remember the last time we had a big crisis like this, I kicked 5.1 million families out on the street. Instead of helping them, I fucked them over as hard as you could fuck anyone over. He didn't say that part. He's acting like he actually helps people in a crisis. Barack Obama doesn't help people in crises. Barack Obama fucks people over who are in crisis.
The kind of courage, kindness, and selflessness that we're going to need to get through one of the most difficult times in our history. Michelle and I have been amazed at the incredible bravery of our medical professionals who are putting their lives on the line to save others, the public servants and health officials battling this disease, the workers taking risks every day to keep our economy running, and everyone who's making their own sacrifice at home with their families, all for the greater good. But if there's one thing we've learned as a country from moments of great crisis,
is that our leaders will use that moment to fuck you over even harder and enrich their donor class friends, turning us into a banana republic. If there's anything we've learned, that would be the thing we've learned. Right, Barack?
it's that the spirit of looking out for one another can't be restricted to our homes or our workplaces or our neighborhoods or our houses of worship. It also has to be reflected in our national government.
This guy is a fucking cocksucker. This motherfucking guy. This guy who used government to fuck people over harder than they've ever been fucked over before or since is now acting like he's Santa Claus. Now he's acting like he actually gives a shit about people. He's acting like when there was a crisis like this when he was president, he actually fucking helped people when he didn't. What a lying charlatan. This is why we have Trump. You want to know why you have Trump? Because of Barack Obama, his horrible leadership, his fucking over of people in crisis.
The kind of leadership that's guided by knowledge and experience.
No.
Honesty and humility.
Honesty.
Oh.
Empathy.
Empathy.
And grace. That kind of leadership doesn't just belong in our state capitals and mayor's office.
Grace.
Oh, it doesn't?
It belongs in the White House.
Oh, grace.
How about when you let it play out? Remember when they were cracking the heads of peaceful protesters? You let it play. I'm going to let them do it.
The thing we've learned as a country from moments of great crisis, it's that the spirit of looking out for one another can't be restricted to our homes or our workplaces or our neighborhoods or our houses of worship.
Or drones.
It also has to be reflected in our national government. The kind of leadership that's guided by knowledge and experience. Honesty and humility.
You mean like Joe Biden?
Empathy and grace. That kind of leadership doesn't just belong in our state capitals and mayor's offices. It belongs in the White House. And that's why I'm so proud to endorse Joe Biden for President of the United States.
A guy who, when we had a crisis last time, helped me screw you over so hard. He was my conduit directly to Wall Street and the insurance industry. Remember, he helped pass a bankruptcy bill that made it harder for people in crisis. That's what we do. We're Democrats. We're wolves in sheep's clothing. We screw you over worse than Republicans.
And this is the guy who's endorsing somebody who has dementia.
Yeah, dementia. So now Barack Obama gets his chance to lie to you. Just like Bernie had his chance yesterday to lie to you that Joe Biden is a good guy and he should be president. Joe Biden is not a good guy and he's demented and he shouldn't be anywhere near. They should take his car keys away, let alone the fucking keys to the government. He's going to have his finger on the nuclear football? Really? And Barack Obama's going to lie to you? And Bernie Sanders is going to lie to you. That's leadership? That they're going to gaslight their own followers into thinking that Joe Biden isn't demented? That's a real revolution you got going there, Bernie. Here we go.
Joe to be my vice president was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Oh my
And
God.
he became a close friend. And I believe Joe has all the qualities we need in a president right now. He's
Demented, has a horrible track record, is a warmonger, is in the pocket of big business, Wall Street, health insurance, big pharma. It's everything we need right now. Oh, and fossil fuels, and his vowed to veto the solution to the problem right now, which is universal health care, Medicare for all. Do you understand why we have Trump? We have Trump because we got a guy like this who's a fucking liar. 1,000% corrupt. Screwed over people when they were in dire situations. Deported more Hispanics than all the presidents combined. That's why you got Donald Trump. Because people are desperate because of fucking pieces of shit like Barack Obama. And Joe Biden. And now Bernie tells you to vote for that guy.
whose own life has taught him how to persevere, how to bounce back when you've been knocked down. When Joe talks with parents who've lost their jobs, we hear the son of a man who once knew the pain of having to tell his children.
You know what else we know? What Joe Biden didn't he have an $8 million health care bill for his kid that he was going to have to sell his house to pay for, and then you gave him the money? The two guys who engineered that health care system that bankrupted Joe Biden kid when he got cancer. You guys, there aren't words strong enough to describe what craven pieces of shit you and Joe Biden are. There aren't words strong enough. And fuck the media that props you up. That's why we have a show. And fuck the progressive media who props you up.
Lost his. When Joe talks about opportunity for our kids, we hear the young father who took the train home each night so he could tuck his children into bed. And we hear the influence of Jill, a lifelong teacher. When Joe talks to families who've lost a hero, we hear another parent of an American veteran
who has led people into illegal wars and gotten them killed and has helped kill millions of other people. He's a warmonger in chief. He's a maniac. He's a sociopathic killer, just like I am. I'm Barack Obama. I'm urging you to vote for another sociopathic killer like Joe Biden.
A kindred spirit, somebody whose faith has endured the hardest loss there is. That's Joe. Through all his trials, he's never once forgotten the values or the moral fiber that his parents passed on to him and that made him who he is. That's what steels his faith in God, in America, and in all of us. That steel made him an incredible partner when I needed one the most. Joe was there as we rebuilt from the Great Recession and rescued the American auto industry. He was the one asking what every policy would do for the middle class, and everyone striving to get into the middle class. That's why I asked him to implement the Recovery Act, which saved millions of jobs and got people back on their feet. Because Joe gets stuff.
This motherfucker, this craven, lying, gaslighting piece of shit who flew into Flint, Michigan, sipped a glass of water, and left those people to die, is now pretending he helped people during the Great Recession. And you know why he gets a lot is able to do this 12 years after the fact? Because Bernie Sanders and no prominent Democrat ever made a critique of it, which is why we got Donald Trump, which is why we're going to get 4 more years of Donald Trump. Do you think this is going to do anything? Do you think this is going to make people vote for Joe Biden? This makes people trust government less because everyone knows Barack Obama's lying, just like Bernie Sanders was lying yesterday when he said Joe Biden would be a good president. Joe Biden is demented, and they should take his car keys away. I bet they already have. I bet they've already taken Joe Biden's car keys away from him. And then you got fucking neoliberal tools of war and destruction like Barack Obama, a wolf in sheep's clothing, the enemy of the people, Barack Obama, major war criminal, Barack Obama, telling you to vote Joe Biden. You think this is the establishment still, but they don't give a shit if Biden doesn't win because they already got their guy. Donald Trump is their guy. And if you're a Trump voter and you think Trump is there to stick it to the establishment, you got another thing coming. He is the establishment. His cabinet is the swamp. You know his biggest legislative achievement besides this giveaway to the corporations that are going to fuck you right now? Was the big $1 trillion tax cut he gave to the richest people before that. You notice they don't ever talk about that anymore.
Joe helped me manage H1N1 and prevent the Ebola epidemic from becoming the type of pandemic we're seeing now.
And now we're actually finding out that it was Joe Biden and Barack Obama that left us unprepared for this situation. That's what we're actually finding out right now.
Helped me restore America's standing and leadership in the world on the other threats of our time, like nuclear proliferation and climate change. Joe has the character and the experience to guide us through one of our darkest.
Joe has no character. Joe is literally a sociopathic liar. People knew this the first time he ran for president and he had to drop out because they showed videotapes of him lying over and over and over and over again. Said he graduated top of his class. He didn't. Said he had a double major. He didn't. Said he gave speeches that were for other politicians' speeches in England. Said it was his. He did this all in public. Look what he did to Anita Hill. This is the guy. So right now, you guys told me Kavanaugh was the worst thing in the world, but now Joe Biden is okay. And you wonder why we have Trump.
And heal us through a long recovery. And I know he'll surround himself with good people. Experts, scientists, military officials who actually know.
Who actually tell us we should invade Libya, drop 26,000 bombs on Syria, tell us we should open the Arctic to drilling whenever Shell Oil asks. Tell us to build cages to put immigrants in. We should gas immigrants at the. That's the kind of experts Joe Biden's going to put in his cabinet. You know, guys like Larry Summers, the guys who deregulated Wall Street.
How to run the government and care about doing a good job running the government and know how to work with our allies and who will always put the American people's interests above their own. And Joe will be a better candidate for having run the gauntlet of primaries and caucuses alongside one of the most impressive Democratic fields ever. Each of our candidates were talented and decent, with a track record of accomplishment, smart ideas, and serious visions for the future. And that's certainly true of the candidate who made.
Does anybody believe anything he's saying? Does anyone believe what the fuck he's saying?
People are begging for you to stop showing this video. They hate him so much.
This is unbelievable. I can't.
We're almost done.